Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Gargoyles episode reviews. Today we're looking at Kingdom. While Goliath, Elisa, and Bronx are on their world tour, the rest of the clan is stuck in NYC. They haven't heard from Elisa or their leader in several days. Well, I'm thinking it's a lot longer than that, more like a month. Anyway, I would have to go back and actually look at the date of the first Avalon episode. They ask their friends, then branch out to their enemies. But neither, including Xanatos, who finds the disappearance quite interesting, knows that the Gargoyles or detective went. Brooklyn finds his leadership skills tested in Goliath's absence. Meanwhile, insurrection is brewing in the Labyrinth, the home of the Mutates. Fang wants to be boss. Missed last week? You didn't miss much, but you can go read Heritage or listen to it. Spoilers are in the 2020 moments. Info from Ask Greg is in the According to Greg Bits. Season 2, Episode 26, Kingdom. Reason for existence, to show that every group has its own kingdom. To explore the theme of leadership, to develop Brooklyn and Talon as leaders, to show how the clan is handling their friend's disappearance, to show the antagonist's reaction as well. Main antagonists, Fang, Claw, Chaz, and Lou. Times, January 4th and 5th, 1996. Locations, New York City, New York. Kingdom, and we open on the clock tower. Another one-word title. Those are ones usually that Greg had a big hand in. They're very good, usually. Except for Heritage, which was not. The crown weighs heavy. We open on the clan back in NYC. Finally. They're worried about their missing friends and dog Goyle. And nobody has found any clues yet. Brooklyn is anything but enthusiastic about being a leader here. Broadway returns from Elisa's apartment where Cagney was slowly starving to death. Well, we have the cat, so we can stop this episode now. And that's all the important parts that we've got here. Hudson asks Brooklyn what they should do now. Brooklyn's leader now, remember? He doesn't want to be. He probably thinks that doing so would mean he didn't believe Goliath is going to return. The gang assigns itself people to ask. Lex will go to the Mazas, Broadway will go to Matt, and Hudson will go to the Labyrinth to ask the Mutates. Their fearless leader, Brooklyn, doesn't have a role. Hudson reminds him that he's the leader, which is a role, but this is interesting. Hudson was once the leader, but now he's happy to hand over authority to young Brooke. And there's Broadway, who kind of freaks out Matt. Even Greg admits the animation in this scene was weird. By the way, Matt doesn't know anything either. Maybe the Illuminati could look for them. Note, Hudson's nickname was Mentor. He is the worst mentor ever here. Like, worse even than Dumbledore. He just basically is like, I don't know. Just do what you want. Hudson also reminds Brooklyn that Maggie is in the Labyrinth. Well, Brooklyn decides the Labyrinth totally needs to be investigated. Yeesh, mate. She's Talon's girlfriend, you know. And I guess this is Hudson's supposedly low-key way of mentoring him. Whatever. Hudson and the cat stay to guard the TV or clock tower. Yeah, maybe it was mentoring and maybe it was Hudson just wanting to stay home and spend his evenings in front of the television set, like Xanatos said. Ha. Let's take a minute to look at the lack of communication from the world travelers. According to Greg, this part of the ep happened on January 4th. That's the same day all the stuff on Queen Florence Island went down. We know the tribe here had satellite communication, not only because we saw the dish, but also because Nick called for a chopper that couldn't come. If I were Elisa, the second I was conscious enough to remember my work's phone number, I'd be calling them and begging them not to fire me. Remember, she just vanished without a word. That's grounds for dismissal. Then she could have had Matt tell the clan what happened. This ep covers January 5th, too, meaning she had plenty of time after defeating Raven to phone home. Fang's out. Brooklyn ventures into the Labyrinth, which includes the subway tunnels and Cyrobiotic's old lab. He runs into two humans, Chaz and Lou, beating up a bum named Al. Then, who should appear but Fang? He demands Al give him surface world stuff. So apparently this vagrant works on a lower echelon gang member as one for Fang. Well, Al isn't the brightest. He hands Fang coins. First off, there's probably less than $10 in there. Second, as Fang points out, there's no way he can spend the money. Fang doesn't have the resources or intelligence of Thalog, so money now has no value for him. It's kind of funny because remember, Fang was actually a human to begin with, and Thalog wasn't even a gargoyle. He was just popped out of a test tube after a couple months, and he's able to use $20 million quite effectively. Right. So, I wonder how the gargoyle economy functions, like just clan to clan. Or does it? It must, since they're a sentient race with wants and needs, like I'm assuming trading. And there's Fang intimidating poor Al. It would be pretty freaky, even if you had were half drunk and on multiple drugs, which there's not really evidence that Al is, but just saying. Enraged, Fang makes Al dance by blasting electricity at him. Puts a new meaning on the word or the phrase electric slide. At this, Brooklyn jumps in and stops it. A moment later, Talon and Maggie appear. Fang submits. As Talon and Mags walk off, she asks if they shouldn't do something more about Fang. I wonder what she has in mind. Talon says Fang will come around. That's an interesting idea from a former cop. How many criminals come around when they've been in jail or prison? So how would having nothing happen to him convince Fang to come around? But really, what's he supposed to do? There's only 4 of them, and they're friends of a sort. Well, at least there aren't any police to call here. Their expressions say it all, with Fang, Talon, and Brooke. Mutates have not seen Elisa. Talon thought she was busy in the, quote, real world. Real world. I know what he means, but it's almost like he considers the labyrinth and the derelicts who live there to be a weak substitute for normal life. Xanatos' name gets brought up offhandedly. Fang emerges at this point. He pulls out all the stops to throw Xanatos under the bus, pointing out that the businessman turned them into, quote, flying bug zappers, tricked them into fighting the gargoyles, and to really top off the Sunday of evil, he hates Elisa. We all know Fang is wrong on that last point. Dislike, like strongly dislike possibly, maybe feels scornful of her, would be a better accurate description. Overall, Xanatos considers her a challenge, but a fun one, or at least a semi-amusing one. He plays her like a Stradivarius, so it's not like she's a threat. No, he would not let her get the upper hand again. Those months in jail, all her doing, were enough, thank you very much. So what's Fang planning here? Remember, he was the one who said that he likes his new body and that they can keep their cure. I guess time made him regret that. Well, Talon has a major grudge against David, so he's game. Back at the clock tower, everyone's turned up empty-handed. Then Talon and Brooklyn arrive. Talon has predicted this. He's pushing for them to storm the castle. Literally. Brooklyn is resistant because there's no proof it was Xanatos, and telling him that Goliath and Elisa are missing might not be the best idea. Yeah, Brooklyn's smart. Hudson rubs it in that Brooks is the leader. Brooklyn is starting to regret being so competent that Goliath elected him as second in command. Oh, looky there, an episode theme. Brooklyn understands that leadership doesn't have many bonuses. You get all the blame and none of the credit. People look to you for leadership, and all you want to do is look to somebody else. It's like when the movies say, people there, they say, call the police. Wait, we are the police. Leadership sounds great until crap hits the fan, and you have to be the man to lead. Fang, though, wants power. He's the very type of person who shouldn't have any, because it will go to his head. People who really, really want power are the ones who shouldn't have even an ounce of it. Remember that. Talon leads the charge on the castle, with the clan following Brooklyn's half-hearted, whatever approach to being an authority. As they fly out, Brooklyn continues to voice his disapproval of the idea, but Talon challenges his authority. If Brooke wants to lead, then he should step up. So they're both pretty inferior leaders at this point. Yeah, you've got Talon just trying to do it by muscle. Storm the castle and you'll face the lightning. Xanatos sees them coming literally from miles away. Here he is looking at the big widescreen in his office, and there's the gargoyles out there. Sometimes I think all he does is stare at that CCTV. But more likely there's some sort of radar that warns of flying creatures near the Erie building. While David is at the big screen, a jacketless Owen is sitting at David's desk, manning the computer. I'm assuming the reason for the lack of his trademark suit jacket is to give the viewers a really good look at his stone fist. Owen. He basically wants to shoot anything that's not 100% on his boss's side. Gotta love that loyalty. And look at that expression. He looks kind of pissed. Xanatos is excited in his smug, confident trickster way. Owen responds with his knee-jerk reaction. Shoot them! He words it as, test the new security system. I'm thinking he didn't get that one from ADT. Xanatos felt he needed one after Thalog got taken, I guess, but I don't know why. It's not like there are more Gargs on the parapets that might get snatched. And again, it wasn't Gargoyles that attacked him, it was a helicopter. There's nothing out there now but some lawn furniture, probably. Having the turrets would have damaged Thalog anyway back then, if they'd shot down the helicopter. But I can understand the desire to have some sort of anti-aircraft system in place, considering your main antagonists are usually flying creatures, and that one helicopter. Xanatos' smirk grins. Why not? Little test never hurt anyone, he says. That look is never good news for the Gargoyles. Ha, these boys and their antics. So, the boys activate laser turrets. Yeah, laser turrets. It just looks like they took entire towers and converted them into just giant laser turrets. I don't understand. Well, predictably, they do more damage to the castle than the Gargoyles. A lot more, like probably even more than Demona did, way back in Awakening. Seriously, guys, you're both at genius level IQs, but you go with laser turrets. Automated laser turrets, not even like ones that you control. Automated. And then not even smart automated. Owen, you're the head of security. The head of security. I expected better. What, you didn't see what happened to Macbeth's place after he used an automated defense system? At least have manual controls. And here's the stupid cannon coming out of a turret. The turret coming out of a turret. My heart sinks. Macbeth, major destruction, take 2. According to Greg, and I quote, Hey, how about that new security system installed as a result of Thalog's kidnapping in Double Jep? Doesn't it suck? The cannons do way more damage to X's castle than to anyone or anything else. And I also felt like we had done this before at Mac's place in Lighthouse and The Price. Yeah, twice. So this is just weak. A failure on our part to come up with something stronger, more original, etc. We needed some action around now, but I still wish we had cracked this better. Unquote. Yeah, well said. Me too. Because it makes them look like idiots. It really does. Like, why? This would never make sense. Entire towers are decimated. The destruction is so great that it weakens and almost annihilates the roof of Xanatos' office. Apparently it's just below the main level. I think I would put it way lower, considering how often the castle gets destroyed, but I guess it would be a pain to trek all the way down there. Xanatos lives in the upper section of the building and the castle itself, by the way. Oh, here's another explosion. Is there even one original stone left in this castle? There's a horribly animated shot of Broadway tying the twin barrels of a cannon. Then, like they're noodles. Then sitting on top of it as the cannon puffs up like a bag of Jiffy Pop. Yeah, not kidding. Even Greg admits it looks terrible. Then why didn't you people cut it? I don't know, whatever. At least there's Xanatos and Owen in this episode, so I really can't complain too much. The Gargoyles end up crashing through the ceiling. And then here's Xanatos. He's collected himself and is sitting behind his desk with his fingers steepled before him. I can't even. This is just too funny at this point. It is a hilarious show of calm that Xanatos has as he rises from his desk and asks, Gentlemen, what a pleasant surprise. To what do I owe the honor? Oh, you gotta love this guy. His castle is trashed. Do you like how I put that in the passive voice so nobody gets hurt? Like, I could have said, he trashed his castle. Mm-hmm. Winged creatures just smashed through his ceiling. His security system, well, it annihilated itself. Yet he acts like this is totally normal, not showing any concern. He can destroy his own castle, but nobody can destroy his calm. The guests are ragey. Talon barrels in, only to fall back when Owen slams a vicious shovel hook into the eel cat bat's floating ribs. Owen uses his stone fist, too. Ouch. Xanatos remarks that Owen is putting his, quote, handicap to good use. Continuity. And Owen hasn't opted to go with the Pack or Darth Vader route and get a robot hand. And there, Owen is in fighting stance, ready to go at this giant eel cat bat. I think Owen really, really wants to have a throwdown with Talon. Owen's taken on multiple gargoyles barehanded, so he's capable. I wonder now, since it's been a little while, what Fox thinks of Owen's hand. Like, did they actually tell her the true story? Did she get mad at either of them? Did she just laugh it off? Yeah, interesting to think about. Also, what's she going to think about the current situation with the castle? Maybe she's out of town and they'll get it all swept up before she gets back. I swear they must just have their own team of contractors at this point. Xanatos pulls an Uzi-like handgun from his desk and holds it on the angry intruders. And Owen probably suggested they just open fire the second they saw the whites of the gargoyles' eyes. Owen blabs all about Elisa, and Broadway adds more about Goliath and Bronx being missing. Then they all accuse Xanatos of being behind it. Of course, he denies all knowledge of the disappearances. When questioned about why he was shooting at them, he says, "Do I really need an excuse to have a good time in my own home?" Okay, I think the good time part ended when the lasers started to blow up his home. Still, shooting at gargoyles is always fun. The comment is also a reminder that they are in fact in his home. They challenged him, not the other way around. He was sitting here minding his own business for once in his life. You poke the bear, you're going to get your face clawed off. And there he is, looking quite intrigued and also dangerous. I love it when he doesn't even try to hide the fact that he's scheming. Everybody knows he is anyway, because it's just sort of his default state. In a move that again sets David apart from the other antagonists, he shrugs and steps away from his desk. He invites Talon to look around the building. He even lets Lexington have access to the database. This is huge. The antagonist is voluntarily letting the protags search his headquarters. Let that sink in. While the protags go to investigate, the grinning Xanatos turns to a smiling Owen. Oh, watch out. They're both fascinated by the news of Goliath's disappearance. I think they both had some Cuban coffee today, too, because they're really upbeat and enthused about, everything. Owen is smiling, and David is even more snarky than usual. Loot cache. Down in the subway tunnels, Chaz and Lou have found a vault. Fang blows it open and discovers a case with laser rifles in it. In the series, this hidden cache of weapons isn't explained. It's in a subway tunnel, not a lab, and it's behind a brick wall. The goons were, quote, digging around down here. Really, is that something that people do in New York? Like, they just randomly dig holes through brick walls in subway systems? And, was this some sort of, cyberbiotic stash? I don't know. Why? Fanfic, anyone? You don't want to explain that in your headcanons? Alright, halftime. Finally, we get some Xanatos and Owen. Finally. I gotta say, the security system was really dumb, though. I don't know why the writers expect me to believe that the boys wouldn't have shut the thing down after the first tower got blasted, or why the heck they would have even done it in the first place. But wow, Xanatos is in rare form here. I love it when he's extra snarky. The Fang is cool, actually. I used to not like him much, but he's getting more personality. We'll look at him more in the next post. I'm pretty sure the precinct would be at red alert right now, since one of their own, Elisa, has vanished. I wish they'd followed up on that more in the eps. Well, tune in next time to see what Fang is planning and how the protags take charge of their kingdoms. What'd you think of the episode so far? Are you glad to be back in New York? It's kind of a gutsy writing move to basically write out all the characters except for 3 originals, one of them being a dog, and then just add a completely new one. So it's a bit strange. And also, it's not even like it's a series or a season start. This is all just series 2. So anyhow, you can comment here. You can comment on the blog. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.